really, if I break this down, you're saying he's a very lovely individual and he might be bisexual. But the way it came across was very, snide and everything like that. Hello folks, it's Woody Cook here for the Attitude cover shoot for the magazine. I'm very excited. I do a lot of things. I do some music, DJing, some presenting stuff. I've done some TV. I own a company called Truth Tribe, which is all about spreading truth, love, positivity, and education, and music at the same time. You know, it's all I'm fingering a lot of pies. I'm doing quite a lot at the moment, but it all seems to be working out. How would I describe my aesthetic? I think my aesthetic is wearing whatever I want, really. I mean, I quite like Hawaiian shirts for some reason. But I really like weird trackies and stuff like that, as you can tell. But for me, it's just about having different socks, and I don't know, so I like the weird utility style sometimes with the weird, like loads of pockets and stuff like that. But I also like just stuff that's a bit different. I like standing out without looking like flex, because a lot of people, it's about watches and this and that. No, I just want to be weird. And with a sort of gender bending style, it's like, I don't know, I don't even think it's that much of a thing. Like, my dad used to wear dresses, apparently my granddad used to wear the occasional dress. It's just one of those things where it's drip, it looks cool, I feel free. And I just thought, one day I looked at the mirror, I was like, I wear similar things quite a lot. How do I step more into being more unique? Because I think my dress sense is being myself. And it seems to work for me.
So when you do step out, say wearing a dress, for example, do you tend to get, is it always a positive reaction?
Today, touch wood, this might be wood, I've not had any bad reception for it. I've had, oh, you're a hero, all this. I'm like, I'm not a hero, I'm just wearing a dress. Like, women wear dresses, you don't go, wow, you're so brave. It's one of those things where I enjoy doing it. I felt powerful doing it. If it had to be a dress I felt comfortable in, you know what I mean? I had to feel like I was the shiz. But yeah, I've just had a really warm response from everyone. And yeah, I think it's my life, the last 5 years, I've just done everything I could to push myself out of my comfort zone. Every time I found something that made me feel a little bit anxious, I was like, I'd address it. So there were so many elements in my life where I was like, I would be afraid of maybe public speaking, I'd be afraid of this. And every time I'd throw myself in the deep end, way over my head, running before I could walk. And then now I have no shame. I just do what I want. And I just don't think about it. So coming out and the circle, everything like that, I'd actually come out before I did this little shoot thing where I talked about just my opinions on the world, being yourself, and the problems with mental health and everything like that. But then on the circle, okay, it was a huge audience. I just remember there was this moment where we all had to do paintings of each other, and the painting came up of me, and there was me in the middle, and then there was like too nice question mark with little snakes. And they were like, they were actually saying, is he a catfish? No one can be that nice. And I'm going, well, thank you, but also, well, I'm not a snake. And then there's this other stuff. And then just in one corner, there's a big rainbow love heart, I like to call it the big gay love heart, with an aubergine in it. And I'm like, it felt a bit weird because you've put the he likes dick in with he's too nice, he could be a snake. Like, really, if I break this down, you're saying he's a very lovely individual and he might be bisexual. But the way it came across was very, snide and everything like that. But honestly, for me, the funny thing was for the rest of the show, everyone only sent me the big gay love heart. I'm like, isn't that funny? Like, you sent me the regular love heart, but now I'm a gay. You have to send me the big gay love heart. And I thought it was just funny how it's like, oh, I like gays, I love LGBT. And I'm like, for me, it's just like, love hearts are love hearts. Love is love. And I had a really warm, positive response. I mean, I grew up in Brighton. Everyone's bisexual, everyone's gay. I mean, I had 18 mates, did a little study. 16 of them were not straight out of my core friendship group. Maybe that's just Brighton, but I think for my generation, it's a very different thing. I really appreciate these past generations that really struggled through it so that I can be in a generation where I can be myself. And I've had an almost unanimously positive response. My folks are great. Recently, Woody's kicked out, Woody's got to fend for himself, Woody can't afford a bread. No, me and my parents were like, we've always agreed that like, you're a normal kid. You don't want to be a trust fund kid. You don't want, I see all these people who are like 20 with a BMW and I'm like, it just upsets me. When you were given something so much, you don't ever learn how to earn. It disrupts you. You've got to earn things in life. Otherwise, there is no point to life. Without that, the drive to do anything is the reward chemical. But if you've already had it warped by getting given everything, you never learn it. It's so for me, it was always common sense that I'd go out and do my own thing. And what I actually said in the interview was, it's going really well. We've agreed and I've been doing really well. Okay, last week I had to borrow bread from my housemate, but besides that, I've been killing it. And then they twist that like, Woody's been off his face till 4 a.m, been cut off from his parents. Woe is me. It's just, and then I'm reading it like, oh, crikey. You know what I mean? They can make a story out of anything. What was my highlight of this year? I've had too many to count. Literally last night, I was opening for my dad to thousands of people in my hometown at the Brighton Centre. That was wonderful. But then 2-3 weeks ago, I gave a speech at Cambridge University to some old professors, to this big crew of people, to the guy who ran the Sandhurst, I think it was a lieutenant major or lieutenant colonel. And then I'm like, oh, there's me, a 20-year-old, dyslexic, who's now going to publicly speak to all these people way older than me, way more qualified than me. And I came up and I gave this speech and it was so rising, I almost cried. I was like, it started with why am I here? And then I talked about my life, and then I think the main bit of the speech was the fact that, look, we all have different problems. I had a mate who had to leave a war-torn country. I had another mate whose dad died, and he's been, 4 years ago, and he lives on his own, and it's one of those things where I then go, how can I feel sad? I feel guilty. I've had so much in my life. But I realise everyone has their own story, everyone has their own struggles, and it's not about what you've been through, it's about how you adapt and move on. And so I think a big part of my year was just doing that, because 3 years ago I would have, I'm dyslexic, I get stage fright. I would have been absolutely shat myself on stage. So for me it was so good, and also talking about, being bullied for being bisexual and all this stuff to a load of very masculine guys. And I didn't feel any shame. And so as much as I've loved doing all these gigs and stuff and had an incredible year, that was a real moment for me.